How's it going, my evil residents? Resident Evil Requiem. That's right, Resident Evil 9 was just announced today with a reveal trailer at the Summer Game Fest, and it looks absolutely amazing. I've gone through the trailer frame by frame to find every little bit of info and potential clues on the game that I possibly could. Make sure you subscribe to stay up to date on info about Resident Evil Requiem, and like the video if you end up learning something new. I won't waste any more of your time, let's get into the breakdown. Here we see a man who we soon find out to be Nathan Dempsey, the head of the FBI, and aboard with the FBI's 10 Most Wanted. The text is ineligible, and the faces don't seem familiar at all. I'm not even sure this is important to begin with, but it is framed right in the middle of the screen, so I just wanted to bring it up. Next, we're introduced to our main character of Resident Evil 9, Grace Ashcroft. Yeah, she does look a bit like Rose from RE8, but the trailer revolves around her being the daughter of Alicia Ashcroft, all the way back from Resident Evil Outbreak, who we see here in the trailer just a bit later.
Grace Ashcroft.
Yes?
This is the first main canonization of that game's events aside from smaller Easter eggs in some other Resident Evil games. Really unique idea for a new main character for the series, and I'm excited to see what they do with her. She's writing a report on some mysterious deaths, which I assume is connected to a couple scenes that we get later. Here we see a map of what looks to me like New York, as you can make out Manhattan Island on the left there, but this could be some fictional city in the RE universe. I think this is related to something later. Nathan has Grace follow her to his office where he says another body has been found. He hands her a file titled The Wrenwood Hotel Case and says he needs a good technical analyst. Given that and her nervousness / clumsiness, we can assume this case will be a big break for her in her new-ish job as a technical analyst for the FBI. We get a couple flashes of a hotel room and a door with a room 201 plate on it. The plot here seems to be that Grace's mom, Alyssa, was murdered while investigating murders at the Wrenwood Hotel sometime after escaping Raccoon City, and Dempsey wants to send Grace to investigate. This would be a huge conflict of interest in real life and would never happen, but I could see this being a good setup in the Resident Evil universe. It is fictional after all, they can do whatever they want. It states that she died 8 years ago, either confirming this game to be set in 2006 and she died in Raccoon City, or that she lived and escaped successfully and was murdered sometime around 2018 if the game is set near modern day. Coincidentally, around the time of the Baker incident from RE7. They're probably not related, but it's the same couple years time span, so I just thought I'd mention it. We get our first shots of Alyssa Ashcroft in the RE engine. She's not voiced or anything, and she may not even be playable, but it's still amazing to see such an underrated character in a Resident Evil game in 2025. Absolutely crazy. We get this very vague and mysterious shot of these two silhouetted figures looking down at presumably Grace. I'm assuming these shaky cam flashbacks are direct memories of hers that she's stuffed down over the years, given the angle of some of them. This one looks like it's at about head level with a child. This one looks like Alyssa is leading her down a hall, and this big hallway shot is also from a lower angle. The shot with the red door also looks a bit lower than an adult's height might be, but this is the weakest one out of all of them. My theory with this is that when Grace goes back to the hotel to investigate this new outbreak that's starting, she's going to find there's many sick people in the hotel, and there's some sort of experimentation going on there. She seems to be captured in the hotel in these scenes, as the wall has similar molding and it has the emergency curtains used in emergency clinics, seen in this shot and in Resident Evil 2 and 3 remakes in some places. I'm guessing these creepy but very nice hallways are from the hotel. It was probably remodeled and reopened under new management after the murders took place, but more on that in a moment. This classic Resident Evil shot with the curtains looks absolutely amazing. I'm assuming this is a part of the Wrenwood Hotel as well. These missing persons posters don't look like anyone familiar and the text is unreadable to me, but if you guys figure out anything from here, please do let me know. As for who's speaking,
stay close.
I'll keep note of any dialogue not matched up to someone and see what all goes together. Then, as we go, we can speculate whose lines could be which characters. This is a shot of what I'm assuming to be New York, as that map was up in Grace's cubicle. My bet is that the Wrenwood Hotel is located here in New York or somewhere in upstate New York, but at the very least, it takes place on the same day as the Wrenwood Hotel shots. The broken window let the rain in, and it's raining here. Plus, the lighting in both scenes is very gray, like overcast weather would be, plus there's another clue later that I will bring up when it comes up. This character is who I assume owns the Wrenwood Hotel and is responsible for the murders and disappearances there, and likely was 8 years ago when Alyssa was murdered. My pipe dream guess is that this is Oswald Spencer from Resident Evil 5. Sure, he may have died in that game, but between RE0 making Marcus young and the cloning technology in RE6, who's to say he didn't find a way to preserve or clone himself and live to continue his work under the radar? His face structure from this small view seems similar, and his hair is also very similar. Not to mention the design of the room and the wider hotel. It definitely suits the vibe of the Spencer estate from RE5. This gramophone is a reused asset from RE8 and a Resident Evil 4 remake. It's very pretty, and I'm very glad to see it here again. Always loved this little model. Don't know why. This man, who I presume to be Spencer, wants Grace for either her genes or her blood, presumably due to her mother being a survivor of Raccoon City. I'm not sure how I feel about this plotline being reworked again from when Jill had a similar arc, but we'll see how it goes. It explains why she was captured and had an IV in her when she was tied to that slab. We then get this massive shot of the ruins of the one and only Raccoon City. I couldn't make out any specific landmarks here. I really tried. I scraped through this thing on live to try to find literally anything. I could not find any. Closest we got is this middle section here, kind of looking like the Raccoon City Park. Though I presume most of the important landmarks are off screen to the left, given most of the main buildings are near the river that runs through Raccoon City, at least in the remakes they are. Up here in the mountains, there seems to be some type of big building. It's definitely not the Spencer Mansion since that exploded, but I thought I should mention it. Let me know what you think it is. Given the size of this crater, it is 100% confirmed that this strike on Raccoon City was not nuclear. The blast would have been much larger. The crater itself seems to be about 10 to 14 city blocks in diameter, which is still insanely massive, but not big enough to be nuclear. Plus, if it was nuclear, we likely couldn't go back here at all with the radiation. It's only been like 25 years. That's not enough time for the radiation to clear. We then hear 3 new voices back to back to back.
Investigating all these strange deaths, huh?
We need to keep our voices down.
Have you seen the same shit I've seen?
Given when the trailer drops these lines, as they're showing off shots of Raccoon City, I'm assuming these 3 voices are Leon, Ada or Jill, and Chris. Chris sounds a lot like Jeff Shine, who voiced him in RE8.
Have you seen the same shit I've seen?
The first voice sounds like an older Leon, though more similar to Nick Apostolides' version.
Investigating all these strange deaths, huh?
The middle voice sounds like it's the same as those couple lines from earlier.
We need to keep our voices down.
My guess is that this is Jill, but it could be Ada, not totally sure.
Please know that you are my hope.
This voice, to me, sounds like Ada in some sort of a bind or distressing situation talking to Leon. This could be Jill as well, and the other voice is Ada, but not totally sure. I really like that these two are in the game. If Leon is there, Ada's going to be there, and I'm sure Chris and Jill are involved with the supposed scale that they're touting that this game's going to be at.
Everyone's gone.
This to me sounds like it's Grace, but I could very well be wrong. I have no idea who else it would be, as it doesn't sound like anyone else that I'm familiar with. Here we also get some shots of the destroyed RPD. We get a wide shot showing off the whole building with the clock tower ruins, then a close-up of the front gate. You can see Leon's Jeep from the opening of RE2 remake on the left there, and in the front, right in front of the camera, likely just a reused model, though they're both different colors. I think this adds more weight to Leon being in the game, as it's a little reference to him, but more on that later. Inside, there's not much changed overall, aside from the obvious destruction. However, a couple photos are removed, this PC is different, and this rolling cart now has a crate on it instead of a bunch of boxes. This leads me to believe that there were survivors of Raccoon City and that people have been here since trying to survive any monsters left behind by the bomb, but that could be super off track. Not too likely for people to survive a bomb like that. The typewriter is still here, by the way. I do quickly want to bring up this screen cap that is mixed with the Leon's face that's going around on Twitter. There's a shot of a hooded figure in the trailer that has a similar jaw structure to Leon, and the resemblance is honestly uncanny. I'm not 100% sure that this is Leon, or maybe it's just like a reused placeholder model. I just wanted to bring it up, get it out of the way. It's very likely that Leon is in this game, and this could be him, but honestly, who knows? This guy yells, "Stay away from her," as he bleeds out. I'm assuming he's keeping someone away from Grace, but it's so vague that there's not much to pull from it. He seems to be another FBI agent, though. We get a brief shot of this creepy thing crawling down from the ceiling. It seems to have been a prisoner here at some point, since it has chains on its wrists, which is why I think that there were experiments going on at the Wrenwood Hotel, but we will see when the game comes out. It has pointed claws and some sort of robe on, but anything else is too hard to make out. Another thing to note here is the unicorn statue in the back of the shot. Here we have a man in a hooded robe taking down some random guy in a suit with the plastic bag technique. No idea who this man is. It could be Leon, as I mentioned earlier, maybe an FBI agent. Judging by the suit is the person he's taking down, but hopefully we learn a little more soon. This also seems to be at the hotel, since it has these nice wooden accents on the walls. This shot of the cop turning into a zombie seems to be a New York beat cop checking things out who got unlucky and got infected. This frame tells me that rainy day shot from earlier in the trailer is the same day as this, since he has on a shower cap type thing on his hat to keep it dry from the rain. This is pretty common for cops to do in New York, plus he has a leather jacket on. His skin gets all pale and his eyes get milky, just like a T-Virus zombie from the remake era of Resident Evil, so I assume the Renwood Hotel will be having specifically a T-Virus outbreak. We get another hallway shot of what I assume is the Renwood Hotel. If it's not, then it's certainly the same place Grace was captured at, as these are the curtains I mentioned being in the room that she's chained up in earlier in the video. We get a close-up of what I assume to be the climbing creature from earlier as we hear chains rattling before it roars to the screen. Super horrifying. Loving the vibe of this game so far. The creature's tongue has tons of disgusting cuts on it. Its teeth are rotting away with its skin. It's absolutely disgusting. Plus, it has long hair, just like the climbing creature did. We get a title drop that confirms this is indeed RE9, which leads me to believe it takes place in somewhat modern day. Capcom has never gone out of timeline order for main number games like Assassin's Creed or Black Ops has, so I'm assuming Alyssa Ashcroft survived Raccoon City in the events of RE Outbreak and was killed sometime in the late 2010s. The game comes out on February 27th, 2026, so make sure you mark your calendars for that day. I know I will be. Fun fact, this is the birthday of Donald Logue, the guy who plays Chief Irons in Resident Evil Welcome to Raccoon City. It's also Noah Emmerich's birthday, who played Dr. Jenner in The Walking Dead. Just a couple fun facts about that day. Has nothing to do with anything, just thought it was neat. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Drop a like if you learned something new. Subscribe if you want to keep up to date on Resident Evil Requiem or want to see some other Resident Evil content. I've just launched a merch shop if you want to check that out at the link below, and I have channel memberships starting at just $1 if you're interested in supporting directly, but no pressure. Shout out to all my members on screen now, and a very special shout out to my nefarious residents, Blaze MBZ, The Epic Rager, One's One Up, Daniel D, Alumet, and Raven's Mansand. And an extra special super mega shout out to my malevolent residents, Donna Dracula TTV, Mark Maidens, Aircrom Cromer, A Dark Trooper, Evil Resident, and Tim Just Me Really. That's going to do it for this video. Hopefully we can hit 10,000 subscribers before Resident Evil 9 comes out. Please subscribe to help me along to that goal, and stay evil, my residents.